Good morning, everyone. We are calling this meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. The time is now 10:12 a.m. Please make sure to put your phones on silence. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Nicole Reynoso.
Present.
Councilman Rafael Pineiro.
Present.
Councilwoman Digna Cabral.
Here.
Vice Mayor Maureen Porras.
Here.
Mayor Christy Fraga.
Present.
Mayor have quorum.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Pineda.
Allegiance to the flag for the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today we have an invocation by our Rabbi Brashevisky.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Rabbi.
So I want to share with you something very special and base my prayer on that. A little less than just about 2 weeks ago, at least for me, I had the best experience I've ever had yet so far in the 20 years that I live in Doral. And that was the special concert, the prayer that we had. Literally, and I'm not exaggerating, since the event, I've been literally thinking about it before I go to sleep and almost waking up with it too. But something very special happened that was kind of the highlight for me personally right before I went back to my car. And that is I bumped into a Catholic priest and we were kibitzing. We started to joke around. I think, Marianne, it was great for you. Where are you? Well-needed laugh. He was joking about my black kippah. I was joking about his black cloak. I don't even know what it's called. Anybody know? Kasuk or something like that, right? Doesn't matter. But I said, wow, this is what it's about. Here we're able to find, irrespective of the past history and the difficulties and challenges between, Jews, Catholic Jews, it doesn't matter. Here we are here together, able to see eye to eye, able to get, even joke together, laugh together. And then I went home. So this brings me to my prayer. I say, Almighty God, please bless us. Give us the wisdom. Give us the strength. Give us the courage. That even when we totally disagree, we should still be agreeable. Even when we do not see eye to eye on the topics, on the issues, we should still be able to look at each other. Even when we cannot listen to the other's ideas, still we should be able to hear each other. And finally, even when our minds are totally closed, still our hearts should be open to one another. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. And thank you for participating in the lovely event with us. Thank you. All right, we have the agenda order of business. We'll go ahead and start with the manager's office. Madam Manager.
Yes, Mayor. We'd like to defer to June, item 6E.
Okay, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to defer item 19A to no specific date.
19A. Okay. Councilman Pinedo.
I'm okay, Mayor. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Porras. None. Councilwoman Reynoso.
Mayor, I would like to defer item 9E.
Okay, I need a motion on the deferral for 9E.
Motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk.
I have a motion to defer item 9E made by Councilwoman Reynoso, seconded by Councilman Pineiro. Councilwoman Reynoso.
Yes.
Councilman Pineiro.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral.
Just a second. And what is the reason it's going to be deferred?
Through the mayor, I don't believe I have to provide a reason for the deferment.
Nope.
Does he has to through the city attorney, does he has to provide by our code a reason why it's going to be deferred?
She does not. It's a motion. You can have You can ask questions. I mean, if she doesn't have any answer and she doesn't have any reason for it, she doesn't need to provide any.
I believe the motion's on the floor and we're calling roll at this time, so.
Councilwoman Cabral?
No.
Vice Mayor Porras?
No.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes, I would like to pull 6J and 6M. And I also would like to have discussion of 9D before 9F.
9D before what?
9F,
9E, she said.
I mean 9E, sorry.
Yes, it is in that order. It would,
I want to have the discussion on 9E before 9D.
9E was
9E
just
was
deferred.
deferred. So that no longer
This
will.
was the other one that was referred to. Okay.
So you would just like to pull 6J and 6M, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I need, let's see. Okay, I need to defer item 6A, please, to June. I need a motion on that deferral, please.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilwoman Reynoso,
Second.
second by Councilman Pinedo. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the deferral for 6A.
Motion to defer item 6A made by Councilwoman Reynoso, seconded by Councilman Pinedo. Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
No.
Vice Mayor Porras?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, well, now we're going to move into public comments. Anyone who would like to speak on anything on this agenda or germane to this council may approach the podium. You have 3 minutes to speak in a respectful manner to this council. If you have not filled out a comment card, please do so after you approach the podium and make your comments. Make sure you state your name and address for the record. We'll go ahead and start with those who have filled out comment cards. We'll start with Louis Mar Garza.
Louis Morez Betty Garza. I have been gone away for quite a few months, still homeless. You've continued a few things, but I guess in my public comments, I will just say, can you smell the MK Ultra stench and pick out the jar babies, as are the belligerent occupants behind the dais in these dank chambers? And to you, resign, resign, resign. And as Trump himself has disassociated himself of all Zionist Jews, you would all do well to do the same. You've apparently continued quite a few of the items on 6H. Are you over budget? Bad budget planning? They're always, always, always asking for an increase in their bad budget planning. Continuing. You've apparently wanted to continue 6M regarding the EV electricals. I'm wondering how many EOs you might be violating if you do proceed with that. 9A, you still haven't mastered this simple formal notification system for upcoming road work. Check with Google, they seem to have a handle on it. And 9B, we have enough 5G towers in our measly 15 square miles. For 9C, really, you need a sergeant at arms just for yourself, Mayor? Are you really just that handled? How much? And blink twice if you are being MK Ultra handled. And beyond that, I don't see how much time I have left, which I think, over there. I would like for each of you to understand that Sheriff Joe Arpaio is willing to sign one of these for each of you, in that each of you have done in the past few years, as you've known me for 20-something years, that you are merely a center for money laundering. You're a much smaller one. And yes, I have been gone for 6 months because I've gotten a lot of training in Maricopa County for 6 months. I've been going to every single meeting for 2 years there. And I will grant you this, you grant a little bit more time for the public to speak. But I would like for you to put back into effect the webinar. You had it. And I understand with Connie that you had it before, and because of COVID, we came along, used it, and then we got rid of it. All the more reason to bring it back. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Louis Mar. Next, we have Carmen Jimenez. Carmen Jimenez?
I believe she's outside.
Ms. Gibson, can you do me a favor? Can you go out and ask if Carmen Jimenez is in the lobby? She's up for speaking. Thank you. Okay, all right, we're gonna move on then. Anyone who would like to speak for public comments, now would be your time to come up to the podium and speak. Any additional public comments? Being none? No? Thank you. All right, this will conclude public comments. Madam Clerk, I have the right to reflect. No one else has chosen to speak at this time. And now we will move on. I need a motion on the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, can you please read the items that are on the consent agenda?
It'll be all of the items on section 6 with the exception of 6A, 6E, 6J, and 6M.
We'll hear 6J and 6M after all the discussion items have been exhausted, Madam Clerk.
Will do.
All right, I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that the motion has passed unanimously. I now need a motion on the minutes.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Reynoso. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, let the record reflect that the motion has passed unanimously. We'll now move into presentations.
Item 8A, Keep Doral Beautiful Business Award.
Good morning, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, Madam Manager, Deputy City Manager, Mr. Attorney, Madam Clerk, members of the audience, Edgar Estrada, Co-Compliance Director. This month, we are pleased to recognize Russo Tires for their outstanding commitment to keeping Doral beautiful. The property for which they're being recognized for is located at 8300 Northwest 58th Street. Russo Tires has been in the city of Doral for 18 years. This property is approximately 75,000 square feet, and the business has 11 employees. Russo Tires is a tire shop that was founded in 2007 in the city of Doral with the vision of serving the community with the best services and tires. Some of the ongoing maintenance efforts to keep the property with a clean, professional, and inviting appearance include routine trimming of trees and shrubs, seasonal planting of new landscape, regular inspections and pressure cleaning of the building exterior. It is with great pleasure that we name Russo Tires for the Keep Doral Beautiful Business Award for their continued efforts to keeping Doral beautiful. And Madam Mayor and Council, here to accept the award on behalf of Russo Tires is Pietro Russo, Ignacio Russo, and Paolo Russo.
The Russo brothers. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Would you like to say a few words?
Good morning. On behalf of my family and everyone at Russo Tires, we thank you for this Keeping Doral Beautiful award. We take pride on the work we do and also in the way we show, everything that's good in Doral. And we'll keep doing our part to make Doral a place we're all proud of. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your investments and commitment to Doral. Would you like to come up for a picture?
Yes, all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, next items.
We're now going into discussion items. Item 9A, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, directing the city attorney, city manager, and Public Works Director to initiate coordination and discussions with the appropriate Miami-Dade County departments to develop a formal notification system for upcoming road work closures on municipal roads within the city of Doral boundaries in order to enhance communication and public awareness, providing for authorization, incorporation of recitals, implementation, and a effective date.
All right, Councilman Pinedo, this is your item, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, the reason why I decided to bring this forward is because, as we all know as residents, the road work performed by Miami-Dade County on municipal roads within Doral frequently leads to traffic disruptions and resident inconvenience. I mean, it's not a secret that sometimes you're driving around and suddenly you see a lane closure and you don't know what's going on, and we don't even know what's going on. And unfortunately, this is something that the county passed back in 2021, where pretty much take all that power from municipalities, or actually communication, which is what I'm trying to accomplish with this resolution, which is the lack of communication has been something that has been going on for the past years. So my take, and I would like through the manager to see if we can bring Mr. Carlos Arroyo from Public Works to the front so that he can give us a little bit of the background as well. Because the idea will be to see, I mean, we're going to give it a try to see how we can establish a communication with the county, at least for us to be notified, and we send the notification out to the residents when it comes to the closure of lanes. I also am aware that when it comes to utility companies, or like AT&T, for example, if they're doing a work out there, they don't have to notify anybody. So for me, that's an issue because during the time that they do it, is especially during the rush hour times, and people believe that it's something that the city has approved and that we just want to close a lane during a 5 or 4 o'clock traffic time because that was our decision. So I think that if we can create a communication, or at least that we can inform the residents about, this is coming up today or tomorrow, at least people will be aware.
Definitely, Councilman, we'll work with the county and see how we can establish a better process. Usually, they provide us with information for their projects, as you mentioned, but based on the ordinance that they adopted back in 2021, 21-99, they are the sole regulators of the right-of-way. So for all type of construction. So on the right-of-way, we don't have jurisdiction. Okay. So, but definitely we'll work with them and see how we can improve this.
Thank you, Mr. Arroyo. If anybody has any questions or?
Any questions?
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilwoman Reynoso.
Second.
Second by Councilman Pinedo. I just wanted to say I completely agree. As a matter of fact, back when I was a councilwoman, I believe it was 2015, actually, our city manager helped me at the time with the legislation. We had passed an MOT ordinance that required the county or any utility company to have to pull a permit here in Doral, so we knew when the roads were going to be closed, but unfortunately, the county rolled that back, kind of preempted us from being able to require those permits. So I think there has to be established communication and protocol, at least for the benefit of those traveling on our roads, and for us to even have information of knowing when road closures are going to happen. So I would think it's common courtesy from other government agencies or the companies that do business in our city, but clearly it's not happening. So I want to thank Councilman Pinedo for bringing this forward, because I do think we need to establish some type of clear communication or understanding of what our rights are within what we can require from other agencies. So thank you very much for bringing this forward. Madam Clerk?
I have a question.
Oh, Councilwoman Cabral?
Through the manager to Mr. Arroyo. When you have encountered these issues, that maybe, have you had any complaints from the community?
They usually come in and they advise on their projects. The issue that we have mostly is with utilities. The ordinance prevents us from asking for an MOT permit or any permit. So now we don't have that grip that we used to have.
So utilities, you mean who? FPL?
Yes, FPL, communications, all of them.
But it's not directly, with the Public Works Department, the county, or with our...
Yes, they actually have to get permits with the county, on the county right-of-way. When it's our right-of-way, they come in and they request permits from us.
Have you communicated with and bring this up to our county commissioner?
Not the county commissioner, but co-workers on the other side.
And you, Ms. Manager, have you also communicated with our commissioner regarding this issue?
No, ma'am. We're trying to do this through the staff and to be able to communicate with the departments, the adequate departments inside of the county, and also to take a look at the ordinance that is from back in 2015, 2021, 2015, 16, to redo that. So we're going to get the process started on the staff side and see where we go from there. But speaking to the county commissioner is always an option for any of you to do.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, he's the one that represents our district, so I think that it will be also adequate to get in touch with him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I have a motion to approve made by Councilwoman Reynoso, seconded by Councilman Pinedo. Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, next item.
Next item, item 9B, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, directing the city attorney to conduct research of the city's code and state statutes to determine the viability of modifying and enforcing monetary bonds or similar mechanisms on telecommunication companies for failure to comply with city requirements, including but not limited to hosting community town hall meetings prior to initiating new work and providing advance notice to residents within 1,000 to 2,000 feet of all proposed cell tower projects or related installations, providing for implementation and incorporation of recitals and an effective date.
Thank you very much. Councilman Pinedo, this is your item.
Thank you, Mayor. This is another issue that has been certainly, caught my attention, especially in the last years. Sometimes you're driving around and you see a new cell tower being put outside a community or in the right-of-way section without anyone knowing. So the most recent that a complaint that I received was from the Grand Bay area where a cell tower was installed just right outside the community. So now you have residents inside their community facing a cell tower on the other side of the backyard. So this is, for me, it's something that I will ask, and it's part of the resolution, to ask our city attorney to look into this matter and see how we can actually enhance the public engagement and notification and accountability by certainly exploring requirements for telecommunication companies and to comply with community engagement expectations. Because again, it's all about perception. If you're a resident and you see that outside of your community, you believe that the city is the one that gave the green light for that to be right outside of a community. So I think it's not just a matter of kind of explaining to the public how that is performed, but at the same time, for us to have some type of say when it comes to this type of telecommunications infrastructure projects. So certainly one of the recommendations will be to require these companies to comply with community engagement expectations, including mandatory town hall meetings, and also to direct notices to residents within 1,000 to 2,000 radius of proposed projects. Again, these are literally right next to a sidewalk, right next to a community. So I think that by instructing our city manager to look into these options, certainly will create something that we can explain to the residents. This is how these projects are taking place, but this is also what are we doing to make sure that you guys are at least are notified. So I don't know if you have any questions, or city attorney.
Thank you, Councilman, for bringing this item. I agree with you. There are things that we are very limited because we are preempted by statute. But nevertheless, the statute does provide for certain options for the city. So that is something that I can take a look at what we have in our existing code and work with you to bring that up to date and bring something back.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you, Councilman Pinedo. I just wanted to comment. I did, this is something that had come to our attention while before I even came back to the city, and had started working on a couple of changes with our previous city attorney, which I told the city attorney during our agenda review that I was going to provide him with. I think the code is extremely antiquated, so there does need to be updated measures to make sure that the city is not only informed and residents are informed, but the city has some type of say. I will say that cities are quite preempted federally and statutorily by the state when it comes to telecommunications. And this is something I expressed heavily to residents and parents who were concerned about these antennas near schools and in communities. And so I do want to make sure that we are doing things to protect within the boundaries that we can, and we have the rights to be able to create measures that will shield residents, but at the same time, I just want to put on the record, from the research I've done, there's pretty strong preemptions on how much we can actually regulate, which really is not, kind of is horrible for our residents, but it's something that I think we need to set the expectation for. So, any other questions or
Thank you.
comments?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. Madam Clerk, next item.
Next item, item 9C, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, amending resolution number 25-39 to specify that the sergeant at arms position shall be assigned solely for the protection and security of the mayor, providing for implementation and incorporation of recitals and an effective date.
Councilwoman Reynoso, this is your item.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, my item is very simple. Over the last couple of months, we've seen the amount of work and events and meetings that the mayor has attended on behalf of the city. And I believe the best course of action for the sergeant at arms position is to be exclusive for the mayor, as she is the full-time council member representing the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Reynoso. Any comments or questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo.
Through the chair to the city manager. I would like to ask you, because I have a few questions that I want to ask our chief of police.
Yes, absolutely.
He's outside.
One moment.
Chief, please approach the podium. We're on the item of Sergeant at Arms. Thank you.
Through the mayor,
Yes.
point of personal privilege?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I believe in order to have skin in the game to really opine to this item, you needed to be involved with the before of this item. In other words, attend community events, attend community engagement, in order to really see the need of a sergeant at arms, none of which you do. That's my comment.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Cabral, you had a question for the chief.
Responding to the councilwoman, I also represent the people. I also go outside the 15 miles radius from the city to go to events as well. So the creation of it, yes, I understand that it was created, even though I don't agree, that this person was going also to that we will be able to also ask requests for this person, even though they was never provide a calendar or availability of this person for us to be able, at least not to me, I don't know the other council members, but not to me. So I do understand that, and I've been here longer than you, and I've been in many, many more events. And I do understand that we were supposed to be using this person, but my question directly to our police, our chief of police, and thank you so much. I understand that one of the reasons that says here to protect and security of the mayor, I understand that we go out from the 15-mile radius of our city. But my understanding, seeing on the statistics and everything that is out there, how safe our city right now under your command?
How safe is our city? In my opinion, we're extremely safe, but we're just one critical incident away from something happening. Anything can happen at any time. So we can never be too comfortable, even though we've had over a 40% reduction in crime over the last few years. We're not immune to anything evidenced by, for example, what happened in City Place last year or at any time. So we can never be too comfortable with that.
Sure, but my understanding is that our department has done a terrific job. I mean, going into how many residents we have here, I mean, per capita, how much crime we have. So I really don't see, and I'm asking you this because, one, thank you to all to the entire department for everything that they do. And I really was trying to understand, I mean, what is the protection that is needed so urgently that the mayor needs, security, almost, I don't know if it is 24 hours or because it doesn't specify here how often it is. Aside from majority of the events happen here in the city. There's a few that we go outside and that's during, and I mean, within most of all of us, or all of us that show up to those events too. And we don't have that luxury, especially that the media pay for this person is between $92,000 to 100 and what, up to 150, almost $150,000 a year. So my concern is that I don't really see why, and I don't think that many. I have to check. I haven't checked on that. How many mayors of the within the 34 municipalities have?
So yeah, remember, when it comes.
No. This is me. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. So you can be dismissed. Thank you so much for answering my question. That was only my question, if that's okay. So, why is it that the mayor needs to protect? A person to protect and secure solely only to her? Within
Excuse
just
me,
being
point of order?
somebody that is serving the community. I still have my 5 minutes. I still have 2:11.
Point of order?
So,
City Attorney?
I just want the community to know there how your taxpayers' money is being allocated and to ask those questions too. Thank you so much.
I have an answer. Does that conclude your comments, Councilwoman? Great. So actually, I'd like to address some of these. Chief, how many threats have I received in the last year or 2 years? Do you remember? You have those, right?
I have the data, yes.
You have the letters that we received here with the threats?
Yeah, and even me personally, I received threats. Obviously, we don't discuss that publicly.
Right.
But yeah, you have been the target of multiple threats, and so have I.
And I'm happy to provide those into the public record. I also have emails that I've kept with threats. Now, I'm not scared for my life. I will tell you that. That's not the reason we have a sergeant at arms. We've instilled a sergeant at arms for several reasons. One, it was because there is sometimes an urgency to get from one place to another in and out of the city. That was one thing. Secondly, I have never excluded council members from being able to use the sergeant at arms with us. As a matter of fact, most of the time when we're going to events outside of the city that all of us participate in and that we RSVP that we're going to be going to as a city and in representation of the city, most of you have joined me in going. It's really more so for the city to have the accessibility to attend and represent ourselves outside of the city and still do our job here. The Sergeant at Arms is not with me 24/7. It's mostly for events that happen outside of the city or from getting from point A to point B within the city. She's actually also attended situations on our behalf, like recently when the trolley caught fire. We sent her in our representation to go get an update to make sure that Public Affairs was able to get a real-time information to inform the public of what was happening. So it's really that connection to the police department from City Hall. It also provides security here at City Hall, which I believe you asked for several times. Am I correct on that, Chief?
Correct.
There was several requests for protection at City Hall from Councilwoman Cabral.
What's the exact question? Sorry.
So I believe there was several requests from Councilwoman Cabral in the past for security at City Hall. From my understanding, there had been conversations in the past about wanting to have an armed security guard or armed police officer here.
Yes.
No. There was someone that I even had to go to court because he was threatened and I have to be in front of a judge. But I never request someone that to be with me all the time. No.
Well,
For City Hall,
City Hall.
yeah, we've had a conversation as to having an armed presence here for the safety and security of City Hall.
So at this time, this person is here making sure that every member that's here inside the building is secure. So there's many aspects to the Sergeant at Arms. I appreciate Councilwoman Reynoso bringing this forward. I didn't ask for it. I think that the purpose of it is intended because of how many things that we are required to attend, and particularly myself. I'm here every single day. I was the first one here this morning. I'll probably be one of the last ones to leave. And I think that there's a certain respect that goes with the position of mayor to make sure that there's security, but for all of us as well. So you're all always welcome to participate and join me in any events that we're all invited to. But my schedule is very fluid, and so sometimes it's hard to be able to accommodate anybody who asks for the sergeant at arms without my presence. And so I think that was the purpose of kind of clarifying the role of sergeant at arms, which was not just for all of us to be able to have the security here at City Hall, to have the direct connect with the police department, but also to make sure that we have protection when we're outside of the city, because you just never know what can happen. Also in emergency situations, if I'm outside of the city and something happens and we need to get back quickly, then it allows us to be able to do that. So it's really just being prepared for any situation. So appreciate your comments, and I understand that maybe some other cities don't do it, but I would say most of the cities do have sergeant at arms for their mayor and councils that are the current body.
I want to clarify that I never requested to have anybody to protect me when I was coming here to
didn't
the
say that.
city, but I want to clarify that because the comment that you said is like, you asked him if I requested. I never requested. When this person, unfortunately, their emails are there. I have to go in front of a judge and everything. The chief at the time said, when you're coming to the building, because this person is around the building that personally did it. Also, I mean, when this person threatened for death, in email, it's on writing as well. I can show what it was discussed with the judge. He was the one who offered and said, when you come to City Hall, because this person is around, just let us know. So in case we just alert, nothing else. So I have never asked for any protection. I feel very safe aside from that because, and this is something that I follow by our former attorney, who was the one who advised to go in front of a judge. So I have all of that for that person that threatened me to death twice.
Yes, just to clarify, I didn't say that you had asked for it. I said that there was requests for there to be
But I wanted to make sure and clear that I never requested.
There was a request for there to be an armed police officer at City Hall. So
That was by the chief.
That
was by the chief of police. Again, I never requested. That was him.
Motion to call the question.
That was him.
There's a
who
motion to call
said
the
I want
question.
to.
Thank you.
Madam
There's a
Mayor.
motion to call the question.
Motion to call the question made by Councilwoman Reynoso. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Pinedo.
Motion to call the question made by Councilwoman Reynoso, seconded by Councilman Pinedo. Councilwoman Reynoso.
Absolutely, yes.
Councilman Pinedo.
Absolutely, yes.
Councilwoman Cabral.
No.
Vice Mayor Porras.
This is a motion to call,
Call
the
the
question,
question.
or for the item?
Motion to call the
Oh,
question.
okay, yes, yes.
Mayor Fraga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, we have a motion on the item.
I'm missing a second.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Reynoso, second by Councilman Pinedo. Madam
Motion
Clerk, please
to
call the roll.
approve. Motion to approve made by Councilwoman Reynoso, seconded by Councilman Pinedo. Councilwoman Reynoso.
Yes.
Councilman Pinedo.
Absolutely, yes.
Councilwoman Cabral.
No.
Vice Mayor Porras.
No.
Mayor Fraga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Thank you very much. Move on to the next item.
Next item, item 9D. A resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, appointing Ray Valdez as Inspector General pursuant to ordinance 2025-08, providing for implementation, incorporation of recitals, expenditure of budgeted funds, and an effective date.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, Mr. City Attorney, would you like to present this item?
I may? Is that okay, Madam Chair? All right. So the next item is the appointment of Ray Valdez as the Inspector General. As you are all aware, the City of Doral passed in November a charter amendment requiring the establishment of the Office of the Inspector General. Pursuant to that, this year, there was an ordinance creating that office and establishing for the appointment of a committee to make findings of an Inspector General. The committee has met. It met twice. During its last meeting, it interviewed two candidates, one that was not found to be qualified, although the interview was offered, and also that of Mr. Valdez. During that meeting, Mr. Valdez was interviewed. He is, I believe, here, so he can, if necessary, answer any questions. And during that meeting, the committee, all of the committee members voted unanimously for the appointment of Mr. Valdez. Pursuant to the ordinance that was passed, the next step would be today, should you all decide, and you are all the ultimate voice. So the committee proposes it to you, but at the end, the council has to make the appointment. So the appointment rests ultimately with this body. So if you decide to appoint Mr. Valdez as the Inspector General, the next thing would be for the mayor and I to be able to negotiate his contract. And that's what's before you today.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Okay, any questions on this item? If not, we
I
need
have
a-
some questions, Mayor.
Okay, Vice Mayor Porras.
I know Mr. Valdez is here. Can you come to the podium to answer questions?
Morning, council members, mayor,
Morning.
Mr. Manager, Deputy Manager, Mr. Attorney, Madam Clerk.
Good morning. How are
Morning.
you?
Good.
So did you read the position description and requirements for this job?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware that the Inspector General needs to be independent, impartial, and objective to effectively fulfill their role?
Absolutely.
Do you think you're going to be impartial and objective?
I believe my track record here in the city and in the county, I think my integrity speaks for itself, my transparency, and I can be completely impartial.
Okay. Can you remind us why you resigned as city manager?
I resigned because I had an issue with you and with Councilwoman Cabral.
Did you accuse us of violating the charter, retaliation, among other things?
Among other things.
Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you aware that as a private citizen, you can actually file a complaint with the appropriate agencies? You can actually present your grievances to a court if you felt that there was a violation. Are you aware of that?
I was not aware of that.
You're not aware that there's an ethics commission?
I didn't, honestly, I didn't feel it would warrant that. I didn't,
Okay.
I thought my resignation spoke for itself. I think what I said on the evening of the 30th of September spoke for itself.
Yes. And going back to that meeting, you clearly displayed a very strong disfavor, dislike, however you want to put it, and a strong propensity, I feel, to discriminate against two sitting council members, including me, Councilman Cabral. If you are going to be presented, let's say, with an investigation against one of us, are you going to recuse yourself?
No, because I'm the body that investigates. But what you can be assured is that I will be impartial, okay, and I will be transparent, okay? I call balls and strikes, okay? It's either black or white. There's no gray area with me. That's how I've lived my life for the last 40 years, both with Miami-Dade Police and during my tenure here, both with the police department and when I was a special assistant to the manager, when I was deputy manager, and I was a city manager. I call it like it is.
Okay. So do you still believe that we violated the charter? You can answer truthfully.
I believe you did. I believe you did.
Right. As city manager, how many employees did you oversee?
530 something.
And as inspector general, as you know, your job would be to investigate waste, mismanagement, contracts, including some of the work that some of the departments are doing. You know that, right?
That's my understanding, yes.
So do you think there may be a conflict of interest if you're asked to investigate some of the staff that you once oversaw?
I don't understand what that would be a conflict of interest.
Perhaps, you also disfavor or you favor, let's say, a department director, an employee that could potentially contribute to a bias, whether good or bad.
I disagree with that, Councilwoman. I bring, again, I can't offer you a crystal ball as to what the future holds, but I can tell you to look at my integrity and look at my past in the public arena, and I challenge you to find anyone who's ever called my ethics or my integrity into question or who's ever had my integrity or my ethics investigated.
Okay. And do you think that your appointment could, sorry, I don't know, okay. Do you think that your appointment could result in the city being sued for having potential conflicts of interest?
I can't tell you who's going to sue. I don't know that.
Okay. Just some, now, thank you so much. If you
Okay.
want to say, you can, if not, you don't have to.
Okay.
Just some questions for the attorney. So I know that we talked about this when you were drafting the position for the Inspector General. And I don't know if you recall that I mentioned that the city of Miami Beach has a prohibition of hiring past employees as Inspector General for the very reasons I just mentioned. You oversaw everyone here. Obviously, we're adding now that you've publicly come out against 2 sitting council members. And so my question to you is, have you assessed the risk and liabilities that we as a city could encounter if Mr. Valdez is appointed today? And by the way, I'm just going to add, that's your job as our attorney.
My job is to provide you all with legal advice and to inform you all of what are the potential risks. There's always a potential risk with the hiring of any employees. There's the risk that someone may have a bias. I mean, that is bias, I think, is inherent in all of us. We all have preferences and we all have dislikes. Mr. Valdez, I understand your concerns, and I think you've put those on the record. But I think also Mr. Valdez is stating his record, also 40 years as a law enforcement officer, and one that has been, pretty much has an unblemished record. I'm sure in his career, he has had to manage people that he likes and dislikes, and has had to be impartial and put his feelings to one side and do his job. And to me personally, as an attorney, that's something that I take very heavily as an attorney, because there, obviously I have a job to do and perform, and sometimes I have to take positions that are in favor of my client, even though I may not 100% necessarily agree with that. So I'm trying to, in coming to what I'm trying to say, is I'm trying to empathize and put myself in Mr. Valdez's shoes. He's up there, and he's stating that he's being truthful. So I think it's for this council to weigh your concerns versus his record and what he's stating, and then vote accordingly.
Thank you. There's really no doubt that you meet the minimum qualifications. Any police officer with a decade of service would meet the minimum qualifications. What my question is do you, Mr. Attorney, do you find any bit of conflict of interest or potential problems with impartiality with Mr. Valdez?
Our particular code doesn't provide those that you mentioned from the city of Miami Beach. What I would have to base it on is our ethics and code, and also the Miami-Dade County Code of Ethics. And there's nothing that I feel that right now, by hiring as an Inspector General, Mr. Valdez in general would have any conflict. If there were a particular circumstance of where he's called to do something that would be raised by the Code of Ethics, then at that point in time, we can have that discussion of whether he should recuse himself or not. But at this time, in general, I don't see that there's any general conflict.
So I'm referring to...
Applying the rules that we have before us.
Okay. I'm referring to the charter and the city ordinance that states that the Inspector General has to be independent and impartial. So I'm referring to those 2 things, but I think I got your answer. Thank you. So for me, Mr. Valdez, it's clear that you do not meet the required standards. You may meet the minimum standards for the job, but I do think that you lack the independence and impartiality as required by the charter and city ordinance. And like I said, you've accused sitting council members, including myself, of violating the charter. You just reiterated that today, said it again, and you have demonstrated a very strong propensity to probably use this position to retaliate. I'm very concerned with that, obviously. I think that if you want to file a complaint against anyone, you could have done it. You can still do it as a private citizen. It's been done against me before and failed. You could have done it. I don't think you have to wait for this job to do it. I really do think that this lack of impartiality is absolutely going to lead to lawsuits against the city, which of course are going to divert important resources and time from our city, and it's going to cost us money. So for that, I will not be voting in favor of your appointment. Thank you.
If I may say something, with your permission. It's my understanding that I cannot unilaterally commence an investigation. Okay, if something is brought to my attention, okay, I have to take a sworn complaint, a sworn affidavit from that individual indicating that he's making a complaint, whether it's against an employee or against an elected official. I then weigh that complaint, okay? And depending on the merits, it's something that I either investigate internally or, God forbid, if it's something that's criminal, I would then forward to the appropriate criminal agency, and I would sort of act as a liaison as to what's going on with that investigation to keep the council apprised of the progress of that investigation. I cannot unilaterally say I'm going to single out this councilwoman or I'm not going to single out this employee and I'm going to investigate him. That's my understanding. I cannot do that. And I think that this is something that came up during my interview, and that was clarified, and that was something that was affirmed by the attorney during the interview. I cannot unilaterally commence an investigation. So if you're worried about a witch hunt, it's not going to commence with me.
Thank you for clarifying, and I'm glad that we actually clarified that on the record, because I still believe that the ordinance is not clear on that, and also one of our committee members also raised that during the meeting, who's also an attorney. But if, I'm glad that we're putting it on the record. Again, the ordinance is not that clear, but just to respond to you, think of it this way. You are a judge, essentially. Judges do not initiate their own cases. They receive cases.
Correct.
And so when a judge receives a case where they have a conflict of interest, they have to recuse themselves. So it doesn't matter who initiated it. You are the independent person that's going to be deciding how an investigation happens, where it goes. So it still applies. But thank you for clarifying that.
Okay. Madam Mayor?
Mr. City Attorney.
Yeah, so I believe, going to what Mr. Valdez said, there's two functions of the Inspector General as per our ordinance. Function number one is, if he receives a verified sworn statement, as he mentioned, it's his duty to investigate that sworn statement. It could be something dealing with the code, it could be dealing something with ethics, it could be dealing with something criminal. Depending on the nature, then he has to take the appropriate action. And that may be referring it to the state attorney's office, that may be referring it to the FBI. I mean, that's up to what you feel and deem is necessary at that point in time. Now, additionally, if this council instructs the Inspector General to go ahead and, let's say, look into public work contracts or look into what's going on with code compliance or a number of things, then he will go ahead and do so. He cannot initiate those types of investigations on his own. He's not, I would say, completely prohibited, but because he can bring a suggestion to you and say, hey, look, I'd like to look into that.
Correct.
But independently, he can't do it on his own.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to say one last thing. I appreciate you coming up and responding to questions.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Councilwoman Reynoso?
Thank you, through the mayor. Mr. Valdez,
Yes, Councilwoman.
great
Good
to
morning.
see you here. Just points of clarification for me. When you were the city manager, were you not selected by the council members, excluding myself, present today?
I was selected by Maureen Porras, Digna Cabral, and Oscar Puig, who's no longer here.
Okay. And you did have the prior position of being the city manager for this city. And upon your resignation, you had valid points to why you no longer wanted to serve as our city manager. Case closed with your resignation letter and leaving the city as our city manager, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And again, just to clarify the definition of propensity, when you have a propensity to do something, there's a history, there's a natural inclination of a pattern of behavior, one that you do not have. I believe that the comments made by our councilwoman, our Vice Mayor, Maureen Porras, isn't really related to the situation because that was your prior employment, what you were doing before. And based on your professionalism and what the committee decided, I think you are perfect for this position. I think you're going to serve this community with integrity. And based on your years of dedication in law enforcement, I think you know how to handle this position. So I have no regrets. I have no inclination to think that this position will be held with the utmost integrity from your part.
Thank you. I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Pinedo.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I want to say welcome to Mr. Valdez and Mrs. Valdez. Thank you for being here.
Morning, Councilman. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. It's good to see you back, to be
Thank you,
honest
sir.
with you.
Likewise.
As Councilwoman Reynoso mentioned, I certainly, and it's a conversation that we had after the hiring last year when you were selected as city manager. I think that you have shown what your character is made of, and I respect that. And I think that you have earned the respect not only from the majority of this council, but also from the majority of the residents of the city of Doral. And I want to say that and leave it on the record because I sometimes it's hard to make comments and or judge someone's character and that person disappear, but you're back. And you're back not because we say yes so far. It's because the committee say yes. A committee that we selected. My representative actually sitting right here. I know he voted yes. But the 5 members voted yes for you. So I just want to leave that on the record, and I want to welcome you back to your house, to your home.
Thank you, sir.
Because you have shown you have been a long-time Doral resident, more than probably anybody sitting up here, you and your family. So you have shown that you put Doral first before anything else or any personal ambition that you might have. So therefore, I place the motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo, second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilwoman Cabral, do you have comments?
Yes, I have a few comments, not to you, Mr. Valdez, to my concern that I sent an email dated on April 15 to the city manager and to the attorney, also city clerk, asking to please to send my email with my concerns to the committee. I never got a response on that email, and it was not distributed to the committee as I requested to do so. Here, I expressed many concerns, but at the same time, when I was listening to the interview that was conducted by the committee, I heard within that Mr. Valdez actually refer that he knew that there was some communication that was going around, something that for me was really concerning because the other person that was interviewed didn't have any knowledge about it, not even the committee. I don't know how he got that information that is there on the script on the day of the interview, but I also want to understand why is it that my email was not, with all my concerns, was given to, one, to be acknowledged by any of you, and second, to be distributed to the committee.
I have a point of order for a second, if we can. Is not every email and communication sent in the city public record?
Yes.
Correct? Public record? Every single email, I believe. You're saying that your email was to be distributed as public record?
No,
To the committee?
I requested to be given to the committee, yes.
Which makes it public record, correct, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
I think your question is null and void at this point because it's.
No, it's not. I wanted
it
to
is-
have it on record that it was never acknowledged, my email.
I believe
for
the
my
answer to your
request
question
I
is
said.
that it's public record.
And I requested to please to be given to the committee at that time, so, because the information that was there was really relevant. And it was the same concerns that the vice mayor has about how the selection of the person that was going to be appointed needed to be someone that it was going to be impartial at the time that this person was going to be selected for this position as Inspector General.
Madam Clerk, was the email circulated? I believe it was circulated after,
No, ma'am, it was not, and I also advised the councilwoman that it had not been circulated.
before the committee.
Correct.
So you had this conversation already with Councilwoman
Correct.
Doral?
And I responded to her in an email as well, advising her that it was not circulated.
Okay. All right. Mr. City Attorney, again, public record?
The email is a public record. Yes, Mayor.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Councilwoman Cabral?
No.
All right.
To the mayor.
Yeah, I actually have some comments too. Would you like to go
Just
first?
very quickly.
Yes.
I just want to again point out that Mr. Valdez did state during the questioning of the vice mayor that he is going to be impartial. So his purpose of resignation should be not considered at this point because this is turning the page. You're here to do a different job. This is what you're going to be doing. You answer the questions. You're going to be able to perform the duties of this position impartially.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I have some questions. First of all, I actually attended the committee meeting that was taking place with the two applicants. It was very clear that the minimum qualifications were met by Mr. Valdez. I do believe that this was properly advertised, and there could have been several applicants, and we only got the two applicants. The committee voted unanimously for this position, and so now it's before us for a decision. I did review the applications. I do have some questions based on what's been put on the record for Mr. Valdez. First, thank you for clarifying the ordinance and the way that it is stated, where the Inspector General can only initiate an investigation based on a complaint that comes in with a signed affidavit. It cannot be it cannot be an anonymous complaint. It has to be a complaint with an affidavit signed. So that was, first of all, clarified. I do believe that there is some benefit to the fact that you not only have lived here for a long time, but also have some understanding of how the city works, because there can be recommendations that come forward for looking into things that the Inspector General's office should be providing. So, but again, those things cannot be initiated unless the council takes a vote to allow you to initiate in those dealings. I have a question based on that. Do you plan to investigate former grievances?
No. No, as far as I'm concerned, it's whatever my effective date is. I mean, if something is brought to my attention from something that occurred in the past, I have to look into it. But like, again, unilaterally, I cannot initiate
Your own investigation?
my own investigation. If I do find something, then I bring it to the council's attention and I await your direction, because that's the way that it's written.
Right, as a recommendation.
As a recommendation.
Number two, how do you plan to conduct these investigations if something is brought forward to you?
Impartially and with transparency, while communicating, when allowed by law, communicating with the council with the progress of that investigation.
Would you recommend for prosecution or penalties on anything that didn't have proper and identified clear evidence of a misdoing?
Of course not. I'm not going to compromise myself or my integrity by putting something out there that is nonsense, because that would fall on me, and I'm not going to do that.
So any investigation that would result with clear evidence and penalties is what you would bring forward clearly as your recommended misuse?
Of course, there's a certain threshold that has to be met when you have to weigh the evidence, you have to evaluate the totality of the circumstances, and if that threshold is met, then that's something that I would move forward on.
And you also recognize that you have discretion to be able to hire private investigators and so on within the budget that's allowed to you to be able to do those things. So it's not really you always doing the searching of evidence, but rather more so reviewing the entirety of its case and whether it is a violation of our charter or our code.
That is correct.
So in other words, don't do anything wrong and you won't have a problem.
Basically.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you.
The other question I had for you, it allows us within our code to either retain you as an independent contractor or as a part-time employee. You have submitted that you would like to be an independent contractor.
I would be working with the council's approval. I would be working as an independent contractor. That's something that I would then negotiate when the time comes, I would negotiate with the attorney and with your office as to the terms of this contract.
And you realize that the contract also has 2-year clauses, which means that at the end of 2 years, if we feel that the job has either been done or hasn't been done to our liking, that the contract can be terminated.
That's my understanding, yes.
So it's not in perpetuity, basically.
Exactly.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm answering all the questions. I feel very comfortable moving forward. I think that there is a level of benefit to having someone that understands the way the city works for the purpose of what the IG office is intended to do. Obviously, someone with your experience in investigation and law enforcement, I think is important as well. Understanding of our charter and our code also provides, benefits. I don't believe that you're here to abuse the powers within the IG's office, but I do think you'll keep people in check. And I think that that is important. I see it very clear. Follow the rules, do things right, and you have nothing to worry about. We have had a charter of office enforcement. We had it for 10 years and never got filled. I intend to fill the office of IG. For 10 years, the charter of office enforcement in our charter sat vacant because of conflicts of interest, because of impartialities, because of this, because of that. We never fulfilled the will of the voters. We will fulfill the will of the voters under this body. And so this is what we are doing. It went through a committee. It went through a transparent process. It was opened. And I think that there's several safeguards and guardrails put in to make sure that neither this body nor the office of IG is abused. So I believe that your record does speak for itself. There was a background onto your previous history in law enforcement, and nothing turned up that would be of any consequence or of anything that would worry us. So I feel very comfortable moving forward. I look forward to working with you, and hopefully everything that comes forward are recommendations from your office on how to be more efficient in government, and that your office doesn't have to be used for investigations if everyone does what they're supposed to do. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your patience and for answering the questions. I believe that there is a motion on the table. So if everyone is done, we can go ahead and call the roll.
I have only one comment for the record.
Councilwoman Cabral.
Thank you.
I would just ask that you please wait to be recognized when you want to
Am
speak.
I recognized?
Yes, you are.
Thank you for recognizing me. So I understand that this was, the position was published in different website because I requested, and the information that was given to me is that it was posted in the Florida Legal Cities FCCMA and Florida Public Human Resources Association platform. And I really don't understand, even though my appointee of the committee also requested and asked, why is it that this position was never posted our website? How is being always standard practice on our city to post all the positions on our website? So I just want to put that in the record that this position was not posted in our city website, was just within the links that I just read.
Through the mayor, Councilwoman, I believe we answered that in the email that you forwarded to us, and explained that we followed the same process. HR followed the same process, and the city clerk and the city attorney, which were the ones that directed the committee, that we followed for the charter enforcement position.
I think I just wanted to put it in the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
A motion to approve made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
No.
Vice Mayor Porras? Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome, Mr. Valdez. We'll be in contact. All right. We have one more item for our discussion items.
Item 9F, discussion, council meeting procedures and agenda management.
Okay, Councilwoman Cabral, this is your item.
I requested this item because we need to clarify the procedures we follow when an agenda item is defer or move after being placed on the formal agenda. At our city council meeting on April, one of my items was removed without a motion and without a stated reason. That raises concern because our charter provided specific guidance on how this action must be handling. And what it says here on Charter Civil Rights, in Section A, number 7, says, no matter once having been placed on a formal agenda by the city shall be postponed or another day except for good cause shown. So I'd like to ask a few questions, City Attorney, to clarify.
Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Councilwoman.
Okay, it's just to be able to interpret the other language and apply during the meeting. Mr. Lorenzo, it is your position is it your position that an item may be removed or deferred from the council agenda without a motion or a vote?
No, a motion needs to be made and a vote needs to be taken.
It is correct that the charter requires good cause showing for any item placed on a formal agenda to be postponed based on the civil rights, on the Bill of
I'm not
Rights.
sure what document you're looking at. I can look at it and
This was updated on November 5th of 2024, adopted charter amendment.
She's looking probably at section 4.10 of the charter,
okay.
I'm assuming.
Is that what you're looking at, Madam Councilwoman?
Yeah. Citizens Bill of Rights, Section A, number 7. And my item last month was deferred without any vote.
I believe, and I think that's a question for the clerk, that a vote was taken on the motion to defer last month.
No, you can look into the video. But aside from that, could you please answer or you can interpret, or you can be able to answer my question, the Bill of Rights on the Section 7, number 7, Section 8, number 7.
Councilwoman, I'm trying to pull it up. I was not prepared to answer this
That's fine.
question
You
now.
cannot answer now. I can bring it back, and so you can be ready for the next agenda.
I would appreciate that.
That will be fine. I will bring it then back to the next agenda, so you will be prepared. Thank you.
Before we exhaust this item, I would just like to say that, we all have preparations for our council meetings. We have our agenda review meetings. So when items like this come up, I think it is prudent for efficiency and the benefit of the public, as well as our time management, that these items are discussed with the city attorney, especially if it's your own item, Councilwoman, that you bring this to the city attorney's attention so that he is prepared to answer your questions, because I think the gotcha moments
It's not
for
a gotcha
staff
moment.
are
It's to
not.
educate everybody, because you were saying that I was
Point
doing
of
it right.
clarification, Councilwoman, I had the floor at this time.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I think that it's really
gotcha moment.
more beneficial to be able to be prepared for these meetings and come with a clear, concise precision on what you want to discuss with this council. If there was a violation of the charter, well, we now have an IG office, so you can take up your grievances with him.
Through the mayor.
It is in the
Point of
memo.
clarification.
Yes, Councilwoman Moreno, so you're
Thank you.
recognized.
Is the councilwoman then deferring her own item for a later date now? I'm confused.
Yes, and I'm giving the reason. The reason is because he needs to check on it, so I'm giving a reason. I'm deferring it for him to be able to have the time to review.
Because you
So I'm
didn't give
giving
him-
a reason. I'm not just deferring it because, it's with a reason. Like it's stated on the civil rights, on the Section 7 Section A, number 7.
I have a quick question for the city attorney. Mr. City Attorney, is this the first time you're being asked the question?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Madam Clerk, let's move on to the next item.
As to this particular issue,
I asked you if he could be deferred and if there was no vote. We talked about that over the phone.
we did. We
Yes,
spoke about.
we did talk about
we
that
spoke
over
about the
the
issue.
phone.
Madam
That's fine.
Mr.
Councilwoman,
Secretary.
I want to clarify my answer. You did speak to me, absolutely, about how motions are made and how they need to be voted with regards to deferral. With regards to the issue of the section that you're referring to, the charter, this is the first time that I'm hearing of it, and I'm more than happy to look into it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, let's move on to item 6J, please.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, I think you need to take a vote on the
J,
deferral.
a resolution of the mayor.
You have to take,
Okay, we need a motion on the deferral.
Motion to defer.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to defer made by Councilwoman Cabral, seconded by Vice Mayor Porras. Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Councilman Pinedo?
No.
Mayor Fraga?
No.
Motion passes. Okay. We'll go back to item 6J, a resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute a work order with CHA Inc. to provide professional services for the design and development of construction documents for the reconditioning of the existing city manager's office space area in the southwest side of the third level within Doral Government Center building, and for the reconditioning of the existing finance department office area on the north side of the Government Center building in an amount not to exceed $113,750, authorizing the city manager to transfer $113,750 from account number 301.8005.50620 to account 301.80005.500.310, and authorizing the city manager to expend budgeted funds on behalf of the city in furtherance hereof, providing for implementation, incorporation of recitals, and an effective date. This was pulled by Councilwoman Cabral.
Okay, Councilwoman Cabral, this is pulled by you.
Thank you for recognizing me. This item, I just want to ask a few questions to understand this item of renovation. On my understanding, this is a work that is going to be doing on the third floor renovation, involving the city manager's office, finance department, and I think that there's other departments as well that are involved also. Public works, public affairs, and also HR, and also council members' office, and so.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I right? Okay. What is the total amount allocated to date for all third floor renovation, including offices for the council members, legislator aides, city manager, deputy city manager, finance department, and any other related offices expected to be in that area?
Well, Councilwoman, once again, I can tell you what this particular item's amounts are. If you would like an accounting of what all of that is, I will gladly share that with your office, but I'm not prepared to answer you because I didn't know that this was information that you needed.
Okay. Does this total include the current requests listed on the agenda, or do you think that they might be even more?
You mean for design services? No, we believe that this particular phase of it, the design services are going to be this amount. You voted on the amount to do the design services to move the council offices and create your new offices in the last meeting.
In the last meeting, that was for the $55,000 that has to do with the safety sprinklers and a few other things that has to do more with the safety. I know because I read that, so I
So
have
does
it.
this. If
So-
you look at the proposal that's attached with the item, it explains, and I can read it off to you if you like.
No, I know
that
exactly
includes-
I know exactly what I voted for, but thank you. What was the original proposal of master plan that was presented for the third floor renovation project?
Master plan,
The for the renovation. What was presented for the third floor?
in the last meeting?
On the when the one with the $500, we're talking that was on February.
What we presented in the meeting was simply the design services for the council offices.
How many times have the finance and city manager office brought forward additional funding requests for the third floor renovation since the first requested will be what was originally approved by $500,000. I mean,
I don't know which $500,000 you're referring to, Councilwoman.
okay.
But again, if we went over this, I had an agenda review with you. I did not receive.
Fine, I just need to ask these questions.
I understand, but I would be much more prepared to answer them
I
if
just
you
have
would
one
have let
more.
me know that you wanted to.
Well, this is an item that is there. So I just have one, the last question is why have many of the supporting documents related to the renovation of, are not being easy to be able to be allocated within our webpage? Or share through the normal channels like it is in Legistar? Because last night I was searching and the items attached to it, I couldn't find it. I had to go to Legistar to be able to find it because there's nothing on the regular website. And if you want, we can later on, if you don't have a knowledge of this, I can sit down with you because all the others, I open it and all the memos and I can see it except for this one.
Okay, well, the clerk is here. She can answer your questions with respect to that because I believe items are attached to the agenda through Legistar and that they should be easily accessible on the website, all of them for all agenda items. Again, you could have called me. I would have been happy to forward you whatever you needed last night.
It was really late. So this one, it's not, this particular one, if you want, after the meeting, we can go over.
Absolutely,
Because I want to understand why is it that one. All of the other ones, I was able to open it and I can see it, except this one.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure that, any relevant documents will be very easily accessible by the residents.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a quick question, just
Yes.
for clarification.
Yes, no, of course.
Thank you. So is this in addition, so just to understand, now that it's been brought up, is this a request for funding in addition to the one that we already made for the third floor?
Construction.
Yes, ma'am. So the design services that you voted on in the last meeting were to do the side of the council offices. That needs to be done first, and it needs to be done individually, so that then we can move everybody and then rework the area that you're going to be emptying out, and also the legislative analyst area, which is going to be incorporated as part of this designs into the manager's office, and be able to do the work in finance so that we can rework the asset management and procurement department, HR, and finance, so that we are able to move everybody around. But we can't do that until we move the legislative analysts and the council to their new offices. So this is the second part that we're going to start doing the design on to be ready once you're done, probably at the beginning of next year, which we'll be moving, to be able to start and have this already permitted and ready to go.
Okay. And I ask because, I'm fine with the reconfiguration. Will there be other, like, additional requests for funding as it pertains to the reconfiguration? Because I thought that the first one was like it. Or do you expect or anticipate more?
So these are designed. There will be construction that will be done. It is my understanding that we do have a certain amount that has been set aside for that construction for a very long time that's been being rolled over years past to do this work, and there will be that there. But once we have the design completed and the permit, then we will put that out to be able to see what the actual construction costs will be. And then those will come back to you. Okay.
Any other questions? We need a motion.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Reynoso. Madam Clerk?
Motion to approve made by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Reynoso. Councilman Pinedo.
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral.
No.
Vice Mayor Porras.
Yes.
Mayor Fraga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. We move on to item 6M.
Item 6M, A resolution of the mayor and the city council of the city of Doral, Florida, authorizing budget transfers in total amount of $166,359 and $40,000 from account number 001.80005.50633 to account number 001.8005.50461 and $45,000 from account number 001.80005.50633 to account number 001.80005.50522 to cover unforeseen city vehicle maintenance and fuel expenses, and $81,359 from account number 001.80005.50633 to account number 001.80005.50640 for the purchase of needed equipment for the Public Works Department, authorizing the city manager to process the budget transfers and to expend budgeted funds in furtherance hereof, providing for implementation, incorporation of recitals, and an effective date. This was pulled by Councilwoman Cabral.
Okay, Councilwoman Cabral, you pulled this item.
Thank you. It's just a quick question. That the transfer is reflecting forecast gaps or simply exceptional maintenance needed?
Okay, Councilwoman, I'm going to bring up our Assistant City Manager, Fernando Casamayor, and our Public Works Director, Carlos Arroyo, to answer the questions with respect to the budget transfer.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, council members. Councilwoman, this budget transfer is to cover a couple of things. One is the increase in fuel charges that we've seen, number of gallons used, and then also price of fuel, which has gone up. The other one is to additional tire changer, 4-post lift for the Public Works Department, and I believe a hot box, which is part of street repair. And if you need details regarding that, Mr. Arroyo can answer those.
So this is just then forecasting gaps within the account?
We budget a year out and using information that is current or prior year information. It's very difficult sometimes to particularly hit a number like fuel because so many factors out of our control.
Sure, we just leave a little contingency and that will help. Okay.
We do the best we can.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion to approve by Councilman
Second.
Pinedo, second by Councilwoman Cabral. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Motion to approve by Councilman Pinedo, seconded by Councilwoman Cabral. Councilman Pinedo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabral?
Yes.
Councilwoman Reynoso?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Porras?
Yes.
Mayor Fraga?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you very much.
Mayor's report.
Yes, mayor's report. All right, so very quickly, just wanted to remind everyone that Saturday is the opening of Phase 2 of Doral Central Park. I want to thank our Parks and Recreation Department and particularly Lazaro Quintero too for their incredible work and dedication to getting this open. We have a lot of great surprises and I'm very excited for the community to see it. So we hope that you will all be out there on Saturday at 10 a.m. to be able to enjoy the activities and get a tour of the park, which will then be open for use on May 18th, which I think Erin's more nervous about than the actual event. Besides that, I just wanted to wish a happy birthday to a couple of special people. We have our city clerk's birthday, which was yesterday. Connie Diaz, happy birthday. We also have Chief birthday, which is coming up on May 30th, and Councilwoman Reynoso's birthday, which is on May 10th. So if you'll join us, we're going to sing happy birthday to all three of them. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Connie, Nicole, and Edwin. Happy birthday to you. All right, that concludes my mayor's report. You're welcome.
City Manager's
City
report.
Manager?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I'm going to call up our Assistant City Manager, CFO, Fernando Casamayor, who's going to introduce our new Procurement and Asset Management Director, Roman Martinez.
Good morning again. It's morning, yes. Good morning again. It is absolutely my pleasure and an honor to present to you Mr. Roman Martinez, who's our new Procurement and Asset Management Director. Mr. Martinez has spent a considerable number of years in the procurement area, both in the city of Miami Beach and also most recently at Miami-Dade College as their procurement director. He's hit the ground running. This department has been in a state of flux for a while, so I am, more than anyone here, I am super happy he's here because now I can sleep a little better at night. Thank you. And true, wonderful human being. Everyone else that I know in the procurement world has congratulated me on hiring him, so I must be doing something right. Roman, welcome to the city of Doral. This is your family now, and hopefully everyone else treats you really well, because I would hate for you to leave.
He's got good chocolate on his desk.
Well, I feel fortunate and blessed that I've been able to join the team here at Doral. I want to thank City Manager Zeta Sardinas and Frank, and also Fernando, for putting the trust in me to be able to do this job. Without their help, without their support, I'm not going to be able to do it. So definitely I'm proud to be here and be able to be part of the team here at City of Doral. Thank you.
Welcome, Roman. And as long as you keep having chocolates on your desk, good.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call up Chief of Police Edwin Lopez for a special recognition of our police officers whose actions led to saving the life of a toddler in our community. Chief, and our Deputy Chief, Alicia.
Thank you, Madam Manager. So, as many of you may have seen in the media coverage, 3 of our officers performed some heroic acts a few short weeks ago. They were involved in the saving of a life of a 2-year-old baby that, for over a minute, was upside down in a pool. And it just goes to show you the courageous work that our officers do in the face of adversity. Officers work 24 hours a day, different schedules. Only one of the officers was able to be here today, but it happens to be the officer that is also a parent of 2 small kids. So, Officer Gallo, without further ado, and your lovely wife, please come forward. On behalf of the entire City of Doral, City Manager, Mayor, and our entire elected body here, City Administration, the Doral Police Department, the Doral Police Department Command Staff, I want to commend you on your heroic actions. You are one brave individual, and there's no way to train for a situation like that. And we relied on you to represent the city well and do God's work, and you far exceeded that. So we're grateful to have you on board. I'm here presenting you with our Life-Saving Award for your heroic actions and the corresponding insignia that goes on your uniform that very few people wear, that you will wear for the rest of your career. Congratulations.
Officer Gallo, we actually have something else for you as well, and the other officers who couldn't join us today, Valdez is right also?
Yes.
I saw the video personally and actually got to meet the family. And for those who didn't hear the story, this little girl was basically lifeless when they found her. She had been underwater for about a minute and a half. And the officers didn't stop trying to save her life until they were able to get a gasp of air. And then ambulance got there shortly after. But they responded in less than 2 minutes. So very impressive. And obviously those are the moments that are, that really represent what law enforcement and our first responders do. But there are also moments very difficult for, I'm sure you as a father, to see that was very, very difficult. So we want to continue to remind our law enforcement that you do not have to go through these moments alone. They can be very traumatic, and we want you to know that the city is here to support you, and that to support your families as well, because we know you go home to them, and they so graciously allow you all to do this line of work that you love. That's very honorable, but it's one of sacrifice. So thank you very much for what you've done. I know that family will forever be grateful to the 3 officers that saved the life of this little girl. and to the city of Doral. So we will forever be grateful for you guys, because something that could have been very tragic turned out to be a story to highlight the good work of our police officers that we know you guys do day in and day out, but sometimes doesn't get recognized. So we have some plaques for you guys as well on behalf of myself as the mayor and our city council to commemorate and recognize the work that you guys do, not only every day, but in this specific moment. So we're going to come down and take some pictures with you, if that's okay as well.
Madam Mayor, one second, please. Officer Gallo he's been begging me for just, when he knew that he was gonna come up here to speak, he wanted to.
Oh, yes.
He
He looks like he has a speech prepared.
yes,
Please.
yes. So Officer Gallo, a few words.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone, especially the chief of police and, the body of the city of Doral for this opportunity. I was just doing my job, and thank you for this recognition. It means a lot to me and my wife and everybody around me. Thank you.
Yes, yes. We're gonna go down. Get your photo. Guys, get your photos. And then stay there for me.
Right, one here.
Another for me. All right. Madam City Manager, do you have anything else for your report?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney?
The only thing is I need an executive session on the Gomez matter.
Okay. So you'll be calling that session?
Yes.
Okay. City Clerk, we're ready to hear your very extensive report.
My report is attached. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes and the cake. I appreciate all of you.
How was your birthday?
It was yesterday.
No, not when. I know when it was. How was your birthday?
It was very good. Thank you. I worked.
All right. That's all. That exhausts our morning meeting. I would need a motion to recess.
Motion to recess.
Motion to recess by Councilman Pinedo.
Second.
Second by Councilman Reynoso. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Let the record reflect that the motion has passed unanimously. We'll see you all at 6 p.m.